Now that we have learned the first and second half of the rogue's skill tree, I recommend going out into the open world and just practicing a bunch of different combos with these if you're a new rogue, and get familiar with this section first before really diving into this section up here. Now come with me and my mount as we travel across the world, take a swim, and then head over to the Azmoran village for a new scenery. Today we delve deep into the shadows to uncover the secrets of the rogue in Ashes of Creation. Whether you're aiming to dominate in PvP or excel in PvE, this guide is your roadmap to mastery. If you have not, please go watch the previous videos about the first tiers and settings for the rogue. I will link it. The rogue's role has an emphasis on stealth capabilities, burst damage potential, and versatility in various combat scenarios. While playing the rogue, it's important to have environmental awareness. Utilize terrain and line of sight to your advantage during engagements. Cooldown management. You must plan ability usage to ensure key skills are available when needed most. Adaptability. Adjust tactics based on the flow of combat and opponent behavior. I encourage you to practice the discussed strategies and share your experiences. Thank you so much for being here, engaging with the content, and learning Rogue. I hope you have fun in Ashes of Creations. If you have any questions, please reach out to Rogues in Game or leave a comment and I will get back to you. Happy learning. Rogues are bis. Fight me. Goo Lagoon. Actually, this is Azmoran. Welcome to the desert. Thanks for watching. If you guys are enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. It helps me out greatly with the whole algorithm of YouTube. Watch me on twitch.tv/Sybreeds to see rogues pretty much every day on Ashes of Creation. I also stream FPS and a lot of other games, so if you guys enjoy this content, check it out, and see you in the next section. Hello, welcome back to the final section for the Rogue skill tree, so we're going to get right into it. The next ability I'm going to show is called UMBRAL CLOAK. UMBRAL CLOAK applies magical invasion, which is increased by 80%. It lasts for 8 seconds. When you consume advantage, to clear all damaging debuffs and crowd control effects. There's 2 activations essentially. The first one, without advantage, is 80% increased evasion. With advantage, you get the 80% increased evasion for 8 seconds, plus you clear all damaging debuffs and crowd control. I like having UMBRAL CLOAK on my Shift E. It's kind of like evasion, so I think of it as Shift E to get away. What this looks like without advantage is this. The icon is not highlighted on your UI. And you can activate it, and you'll be a glowing, mystical, purplish blue, like constellation. That's how you know you have it. Also, you'll have UMBRAL CLOAK buff for 8 seconds, which is the 80% evasion window. Now, it is a long cooldown, so I'm going to cut ahead when it's off cooldown and show you what it looks like when you have advantage. Now, here is an example of how to use UMBRAL CLOAK to clear all damaging debuffs and crowd control effects. First, you want to make sure that you have advantage, which is the glowing part of your hand in-game, or this icon next to your raid frame. You'll know that it's usable with advantage because of the glowing golden highlight around UMBRAL CLOAK. You'll want to activate it after the dots or damage over time is applied to your character. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting the cleanse. What's up, Polar? See you all. You're all gonna learn Rogue, right? I see you all. You're gonna watch this. Each of you will learn Rogue. And then you'll see the power of it in ZVZ. Go, Polar. Rain destruction on the server. Yo, what is these broke-ass mounts? It's okay, I have a broke-ass mount too. Have fun. Happy gaming. So, Umbral Cloak. So we're gonna make sure that we have advantage. And then, if I get poisoned on the bottom left corner of my screen, right here. Poisoned. See? If I shift E, this will go away instantly. Boom. Poison's gone. Umbral Cloak. And now you have 80% evasion, but also you cleanse all dots in CC. Happy learning. Next, we have an ability called Shadow Cascade. This is one of the coolest abilities in the Rogue tooltip. It's the most flashy, and it can be the most impactful in a cluster of ZVZ when it's pulled off correctly. The Rogue will dash 20 meters forward through your enemies. After a short delay, deals 150 to 300% necrotic damage to each target hit. Increased based on the amount of missing health on the target. So this is more of a closure ability rather than an opener. Although the later tooltips, you can kind of use it whenever, but hear me out. All targets hit suffer bleeding. Targets that are poisoned become exposed. Targets below 50% health suffer hemorrhaging. What these mean, if you hit your advanced information tooltip, we already went over bleeding, we already went over poisoned, we know incapacitated, exposed, taking 25% more damage from all debuff sources. That's huge for ZVZ, because many other roles can apply these debuffs. Not just you. To go more in depth, your backstab can also apply exposed. So try and weave that in as much as possible to your kill targets. Now, I like to have Shadow Cascade as a flex tool. It's usually not in my arsenal all the time. But for this demonstration, we're going to put it on Shift T. Because, you know, it's a shifty ability. Because, you know, can change the tide of battle. In order to use Shadow Cascade, you have to have advantage. You either have to use it from stealth to gain the advantage. You can use it after acrobatic strike to gain advantage. You can use it after your weapon combos to gain advantage. Many ways to gain advantage in order to pull off Shadow Cascade. So the optimal way to use Shadow Cascade is apply as many debuffs and dots as possible to your target. Wait until the target is maybe sub 50% health, maybe 30%, or best case scenario 20 or 10%, because it does more damage with more missing health. If you just want to use it in, say, like a cluster, the exposed debuff is fantastic. Just try and get these poisons off from, say, your withering poison or whatever you have equipped, and then get your bleeds off, because you'll see that it'll tank much, much harder. So here's an example. I'm just going to build up some poisons, get some bleeds on the enemy. Cool, it's bleeding. And then now I can't use it because I don't have advantage. So I'm going to kite a little bit until I have acrobatic strike up to gain advantage. Cool. So now I have advantage because of the acrobatic strike, and it's bleeding. If I press Shift T, there's the strike and the crit. And now it's exposed, but also the bleeds or dots are doing 25% more per tick because of the exposed debuff that Shadow Cascade gives. It is a very powerful tool to end fights or engage fights because of the debuff capability, both in small scale, 1v1, 1vx multiple enemies, or in 8v8s, 16v16s, or 40v40 plus platoons. Moving on to the next ability is called Adrenaline. Adrenaline is your movement speed is increased by 50%, your max stamina is increased by 50, which lasts for 5 seconds. This is also usable without breaking stealth. I like to have this right underneath Shift E on Shift C, for it allows a lot of clean getaways. With the power of Adrenaline, I have crossed the entire world map, chilling over in Corin. Beautiful area. Now, Adrenaline gives your movement speed increased by 50%. Your max stamina is increased by 50 as well, and it lasts 5 seconds. Usable without breaking stealth. So you can be in the open world and use Adrenaline, or you can be in stealth. And if you need to clear past a bunch of mobs, you can still use Adrenaline from stealth. You'll see we now have 150 stealth, and I can basically move 50% faster in stealth, or 50% faster out of stealth. Now, an important thing to note is when a rogue uses a movement ability, such as sprinting, dashing, or using grappling hook from stealth with padded tool belt, the rogue will get a debuff that their stealth level is reduced by 5. Called Noisy. Right here, bottom left corner, Noisy. Stealth level reduced by 5. Recently using a stamina movement ability while stealthed. So just be aware when you're using Adrenaline Rush around enemies and you just accidentally hit shift or dash. It'll be easier for other players to scout you when you're in front of their vision cone. So always try and be aware when you pop Adrenaline that it's from a safe space, so that when you have Noisy, it'll fall off and then you can go around the world map safely. Adrenaline is great to cross water if you are out of stamina, because you will get the 50% movement speed increase in water, which can be life or death in certain PvP situations. So here I'm moving at a pretty damn slow pace. I can pop Adrenaline. Look at that. We are zooming. We are zooming. And then you combo that with some stealth shift rolls plus grapple in the water. And me oh my, you are ready for PvP. Good luck. A simple combo I like using with Adrenaline is going in stealth, dashing because we use less stamina from stealth because we have the advantage, and then using double grappling hook, which we will go over in this video as well. And you will have fantastic movement across the map. It looks like this. And then now we pop Adrenaline. You were zooming. Grappling hook's about to be up. Adrenaline just crashed. Smoke bomb, grapple, and we've covered great distance. That deserves a dance. Good luck. Have fun. The next ability I like to go over is CALTROPS. It's a 1-minute cooldown. It can be used with 2 charges when you have expanded tool belt on, which we will go over later in the video. But for now, you can use it once. So you throw out fields of caltrops at target locations that last 10 seconds. Enemies that move through the field will rapidly take 20 to 35 pierce damage and become snared. Enemy mounts that take damage from this ability also have a 20% chance to become spooked. Spooked means this mount was injured and startled by the rogue's caltrops, making it unrideable until it calms down. Lasts 10 seconds. This is really good for chasing down players, but also throwing your caltrops behind you to prevent other players from gaining space. Now I'm just going to drag caltrops over to my UI. For now, it's just sitting on Shift 4. Now, caltrops has a reticle, a zone of where it's placed. This setting changes based on the previous section's settings of targeting quick cast. So mess around with what you feel is comfortable for your playstyle. So when you enable caltrops, it'll first be this reticle that you can use your mouse over, or if you are in action mode, in this case it's Z for me, it'll change on the fly of where this reticle is. I typically use classic mode when I'm about to throw caltrops. I want to be maybe looking and moving left, but throw my caltrops all the way over here. If I'm in action mode, it's kind of hard to look this direction and throw your caltrops. It's actually almost impossible because it goes where your crosshair goes, and it's like a frontal vision of your character. So being able to move your caltrops in any direction is beautiful because you can get up cool opportunities to do dodge rolls into a caltrop that bugs right in front of you and not going where it's supposed to go. So let's try this again. So you're able to do cool techniques such as dashing away and caltrapping in a different direction. And that's 2 times that it's bugged in a row. So let's wait 36 seconds as this goes on cooldown. I'll see you when we're back. So I want to pull some mobs with caltrops, and we will see that they will have pierce damage and then become snared. Throw my caltrops down. There's snared, some pierce damage. Beautiful. Still causing damage when I'm away from the fight. And the bugs, they do see through stealth, so just gotta be a little careful with that sometimes. If there are mounts, this is really good for demounting players. It's extremely powerful in choke points, where a couple rogues can just funnel players into angles that are advantageous to guilds in ZVZ. So get creative with the direction that you throw your caltrops in order to maximize their space. It's a giant circle, so it'll go on abnormal like shapes around the map if players are trying to go from like low space to high space, or if you're playing high to low, it's really advantageous too to block off, because they're just going to take continuous damage as they try and grapple. Here, players try and get up, they're going to be slowed, but also their movement gets interrupted and damaged all at the same time. I find the slow is not all that powerful with caltrops. Maybe it's even better if you use chilling poison with caltrops and apply it. You can also apply it with throw, but this is about caltrops right now, so chilling poison and then caltrops. I don't know why they don't want to go where the arrow goes. So now I'm going to apply chilling poison before I throw caltrops to see how much of a slow this causes. Beautiful. And you can vanish away. It's up to the rogue to decide what happens next. As you saw with chilling poison, this will work with any of the 4 poisons. So you could rotate with 2 caltrops or throw to apply these poisons across a large space. We just saw chilling poison. Well, let's say we're playing against a group of bards or clerics. So you saw that we can use chilling poison. Do try the 3 other ones in PvP. I have yet to try draining poison with the caltrops. It works phenomenal with 1v1s. Withering poison likewise is phenomenal with 1v1s, but this could be a really cool way to apply the daze and weaken in large scale PvP, which is minus 25% attack speed and minus 25% magical casting speed. Wounding poison might be BIS because when they're walking, it needs to be stacked up to 10 times. When a player walks through caltrops, the ticks happen extremely fast for the steps taken. Next, I'd like to showcase Grappling Hook, which has a 10-second cooldown with 1 use up to 2 uses with expanded tool belt. Grappling Hook throws a grappling hook at your target location and pulls yourself to that position. Taking direct damage during this effect will cause you to become tripped for 1 second. The rogue will be tripped if they take any direct damage during the grapple. Grappling's cooldown is halved when out of combat, so the 10-second cooldown becomes 5 seconds. This I bind to something that has very quick access and feels natural. This could be a thumb keybind for you. I use G for grapple. The reticle, just like caltrops, will show up on the floor. Remember, these settings can be changed to see how you want the cast to happen in your settings. So, in this case, we have grapple and the rogue standing here. When you have this on default, I believe if you press it once, the reticle will show up. And then once you click it again, either left click or if I press G, I will go to where this icon is. So that was pressing G, clicking where it's at, and I went to this rock. This will be pressing keybind G and then pressing keybind G again. And I'm brought to the spot where I want to be. This is in classic mode. In action mode, the same thing happens, but it's just a different targeting where it goes where your crosshair reticle goes. So here, if I press G for grapple, there is the icon. And then the reticle is where the grapple goes. So you have to be looking where you want to go. This can get pretty intricate with spots where this mode can sometimes get a little bit buggy. If you're looking where this dot is, it'll take you to that spot like 99% of the times if you have line of sight of where the grapple goes. So if I want to like hit this corner right here and I just look at this corner and I like press G, I'm like going directly to that corner. The same thing can happen with the mouse, but it's a little bit harder to see when you're further back, or like just the POV changes. So be aware of that. Like if I want to walk this direction but also hit here, you can classic mode, look that direction and grapple. You can definitely do some cool combos with adrenaline, dashing, and stealth with grappling. And then even more cooler tech with expanded tool belt. So it looks like kind of adrenaline, C, dashing, and then like double grapple to like where you need to be. You can cover like space exponentially quicker as certain things unlock. Then maybe you have like a Zerg following you in that moment, and you do like your previous tech where maybe it's like chilling poison, and you can like cover a large zone in a siege node war or like one of the gates that are happening. Other cool things, just get creative with where you're playing. So, say you're being chased in this choke point right here, and you need to cover the space. You can make routes for yourself really quickly with players chasing you, or you need to make a quick getaway between your grapple and other like caltrop abilities. So say you want to climb this choke point, maybe pop a slow, oopsies, right here, caltrops, you know, and then you can just get up to the choke point where they cannot. But they'll be like taking damage because of the caltrops. They'll have to go through verticality and like climbing, when all you have to do is just well, don't get hit while you grapple. Otherwise this stun will happen right here. That looks like this. I think I dodged it midair. That's crazy. But you know, I got Rogue's buff. Only I could do that. If you try that, you'll probably get stunned. So, if you grapple and get hit, you'll get knocked down. My character got stopped, and the grapple went on cooldown, and I got knocked down. This could be detrimental in PvP. So, before you use this, maybe you want to pop Umbral Cloak. Maybe you want to roll to get your stamina evasion up. This buff. Maybe you'll want to use Adrenaline, so when you come out of the grapple without getting hit, you're just faster. So we're here, we're moving, maybe caltraps, and then you're out and you're just dashing away, you know? You do the thing. And then they're taking grapple damage. Sorry, they're taking caltrap. Woo, 750 caltrap damage. We take those. You know, that could be the difference between a kill and helping your cleric or bard or main tank take space and help them survive. Next, I'd like to go over Ruthless. Stab and Lacerate have no cooldown when used with 2 stacks of advantage. This requires a little bit of setup to pull off before an engagement, but it can be used in mid-fight. It's just a little hard to stack the 2 advantage when there's all this chaos happening around in the fight. So, there's a couple ways we can get the 2 advantage. I like to have both given through stealth before a fight even happens. So I'm usually roaming around the map, just on my mount or in the open world, just casually having 2 stacks of advantage anywhere I go. For it, lasts a full minute before you need to even refresh. Right here in the bottom left corner. Advantage. You gain advantage. Certain attacks will consume this buff. It's a full minute of decision making. So, with Ruthless, Stab and Lacerate has no cooldown. This is Stab from earlier. This is Lacerate from earlier. Some really overpowered tech is getting the back-to-back stab reset from Feint and getting multiple stabs off in a row for extreme burst. You will have more damage with your first backstab from stealth. It's tempting to open with kick, and you can do that. It's great. To get this combo off, try and look to have someone already CC, like a ranger root, so that you can open with stab rather than kick. But the situation might change. So, 2 stacks of advantage, and we're going to open with on the Sand Squall Broodling. Now, this will allow stab to be used multiple times before going on cooldown. So we're able to spam the damage extremely fast. Now, the same thing can be done if you have Lacerate. Here it says Stab and Lacerate has no cooldowns. So if you're using Lacerate, should probably be either to get the bleeding off, to apply hemorrhaging to a group, or to cleave, because it consumes, as it says here, consumes advantage to instead hit all targets in frontal melee range for 100%, 150% physical damage with normal melee AoE fall off. So you can get back-to-back cleave really fast. That looks like this. There's one. There's two. They're after me, Lucky Charms. Ooh. Can't pass up loot. So, by the way, for looting, just put yourself in a smoke bomb. Way easier to collect. Hello, game. Game, please. Alright, I'll fight for it. We put our knowledge to the game. Sand Squall brooding. Dead. Get around. Look, okay, always want to be on the backside of it as well. Because the backstab, you'll see if you're in the front with stab, but it'll change as you roam around this one. So if you're in classic mode, you have to kind of hold your mouse down to rotate around it in order to get these backstabs off. Right? I'm always have to click and drag to stay behind it. If I'm in action mode, it's kind of way... It feels fast. It feels smooth. Or if I'm doing acrobatic strike, I can just loop behind it and kind of smoothly glide my mouse across the mouse pad. Look at that. We're rich. You know what, Steven? Glint. Remember, this is an alpha test. If you find something wrong, problematic with the game that probably shouldn't be there, just do /bug and this UI will come up on your screen. In this window, you have some drop-down menus that have a bunch of different descriptions. In this case, archetype, audio, combat, crafting, processing, items, gathering, movement, network, nodes, NPC, performance, quest, social, visuals, world, UI. In these, there's also subcategories. So get specific when you submit a bug, so it will be fixed before the game goes into phase 3 or full development once it's released. But do your part. Moving on. This is Deathmark. Deathmark has a really cool system in the game for having sustain for your character on your rogue, but also it can be problematic in 1v1s because you take 10% more damage from their attacks. Meaning a mage that has really high crit, the 10% is actually a lot of damage taken. So, Deathmark. It's a 1-minute cooldown, and you have to be within 50-meter range. Your target is afflicted with Deathmark, marked for death by a rogue. Take 10% more damage from their attacks. Lasts 1 minute. You, the rogue, takes 10% more damage. But I think so do they. If anyone has confirmation for this, let us all know in the comments, please. After their first attack, the duration of this debuff is set to 30 seconds. Killing your marked target will reset the cooldown and heal you for 50% of your max health or your target's max health, whichever is lesser. That's important. So target priority is very important on who you deathmark to get the healing back. Because that 50% of max health can be very little or massive amounts depending on which target you pick. Deathmark is only usable while stealth and has a minimum range of 15 meters. So you have to space yourself further than 15 meters in order to apply Deathmark. stealthed, but you also have to be further than 15 meters. So here it's usable, it's highlighted. If I go too close, it's grayed out and I cannot use the ability. Can't use this right now. So you have to be between the range of that 50 meters, but more than 15 meters away. So once you apply it, the target will become death marked. Here's the debuff. Death marked. Marked for death by a rogue. Take 10% more damage from their attacks. And I believe the tooltip reads takes 10% more damage from their attacks. So we just need to confirm if the rogue takes 10% more damage, or they're taking 10% damage, or it's both. So once you found a target to death mark, timer will be a 60-second countdown. Once the first hack, this debuff is then reduced to 30 seconds, where you have 30 seconds to kill the target to get the healing off. That looks like this. And then it'll heal right there, 981. That healing is determined, once again, from the bottom text. Killing your marked target will reset the cooldown and heal you for 50% of your max health, or your target's max health, whichever is lesser. The improvement to Deathmark is called Cold Embrace. Deathmark applies chilled. Upon initial application, if the target is already chilled, they instead become frozen. Chilled, just like the poison's version of chilled, right here, chilling poison. Chilled reduces movement speed by 50%. It lasts roughly 6 seconds, depending on your weapon build for duration. Duration can be extended up to 15 seconds by subsequent applications. The cool feature is called Frozen, which cannot move or rotate for roughly 4 seconds. This is great playing around mages that apply chilled. Mainly, you're going to see use when you can combo your smoke bomb, which I will show later, with Shiver Vapor. The next ability I'd like to showcase is called Smoke Bomb. It's on a 1 minute and 30 second cooldown, which can initially be used 1 time, up to 2 times when you use expanded tool belt. It can be used from stealth as well with padded tool belt. It's one or the other. Smoke Bomb. Throw a smoke bomb down beneath you that lasts 10 seconds. While within, you are unobservable, and activating or leaving stealth only incurs a 3-second cooldown. Big for rogues. While within, you also gain blurred. Evasion increased by 25%. Big. Enemies within are periodically afflicted with blinded. Accuracy reduced by 25%. So, not only does the rogue get 25% increased evasion, which can then be boosted with UMBRAL Cloak, which then can be boosted with dodge rolling, you can get to some pretty insane numbers of evasion. Now, enemies within are periodically afflicted with blinded. Their accuracy is. So here we go, Sweat Andes, look at the stats. Accuracy. Increase the chance to be hit with physical attacks, and then there is magical accuracy. Increase the chance to be hit with magic attacks. If I'm in Smoke Bomb, magic accuracy does not go up. I'm sorry. It's because it's my own smoke bomb. So, Smoke Bomb reduces the enemy's accuracy by 25%, but the rogue will gain the evasion, which can be seen here. 32%. If I dodge, it goes in the 120, like 125, 129 while I dodge. If I Smoke Bomb, my evasion's at 40.43. And then if I go into Umbral Cloak at the same time, my evasion, well, sorry, this is my magical evasion, because it's Umbral. You can get some pretty outstanding numbers between physical and magical with a mixture of Smoke Bomb, Umbral Cloak, and dodging. You want to be able to drop Smoke Bombs, but also perhaps drop your Caltrops in the Smoke Bombs, so they're harder for your enemies to see. So here we have two Sand Squall Broodlings that are going to be on me. And then I'm going to pop a Smoke Bomb to see how much of their hits miss me. So here, we throw some Caltrops down, and it's pretty hard to see that they're all there. So we're taking evasion windows because of the Smoke Bomb. Some really cool things that you can do is stealth, re-stealth within Smoke Bomb to get the healing off from Soothing Shadows, or to continue up the buff from Guile, the foreshadowing. It also leads into really cool plays because you can position yourself in unfavorable like choke points, but then be out in the open. Because if you stack a Smoke Bomb and then say Umbral Cloak and just rain down arrows or like fizz damage, spellbooks, fizz damage, longbows, you know, from off angles, it's disgusting damage that the enemy team can't do anything about. And if they do push you, well then just like Caltrop in front of you. You know, you can always just like be playing from like these angles up here, and then they're pushing you, and then just Caltrop, what do you call it? Grapple away and go into stealth. Get really creative with how you can position with just Smoke Bomb, more than just diving a player and just popping the Smoke Bomb down. It's an insanely powerful tool to be able to weave in and out of the Smoke Bomb, play around Caltrops, and then play around re-stealth. Because you can just be out in the open and pop a Smoke Bomb, cleanse everything with Umbral Cloak, and then just be out of there. Now, the advanced version of Smoke Bomb leads into some cool combos if you're spec'd into the Deathmark and Cold's Embrace. The advanced version of Smoke Bomb is called Shiver Vapor. Smoke Bomb also periodically applies Chilled. Now, you can have some crazy good CC and slowing. Here, we're going to use Caltrops plus our Smoke Bomb to apply Chilling Poison. And we're going to see that it applies Chilled just from being inside of the Smoke Bomb. Here it is. We're going to Smoke Bomb. It's now chilled and blinded. There's the debuff Chilled. So if we just play around this, it is periodically refreshing the Chilled from the Smoke Bomb. Now, I'd finally like to go over Expanded Tool Belt. This is a one or the other decision in the ability skill. So, you can choose between Expanded Tool Belt or Padded Tool Belt. For a lot of this video, I used Expand Tool Belt, which gives you an extra ability charge to your Throw, Sleep Dart, Poisons, Caltrops, Grappling Hook, and Smoke Bomb. 2 charges. You'll know that you have 2 because if you hover over your UI, in the bottom right corner of the icon, you'll see a small number 2. If you spec into Padded Toolkit, you'll see a small number 1 telling you you only have 1 use of this ability. Padded Toolkit is really powerful because a lot of your abilities have a higher skill ceiling because they can be used from stealth. The trade-off, though, is it increases your chance of being detected. So it's high risk, high reward. The tools that can be used without breaking stealth are throw, sleep dart, poisons, caltrops, grappling hook, and smoke bomb. Padded toolkit looks like this. You can use throw, you can use sleep dart, you can use poisons from stealth. So here we are in stealth. I got some crazy keybinds from this video, sorry. We're gonna go here. T, so I'm in stealth. Boom, poisons, and then maybe we use throw from stealth. And then maybe we use sleep dart from stealth. Grappling hook, maybe you need to reposition. Then you're really truly a rogue. You're in stealth right here. Boom. Grappling in stealth. I'm not sure if players can see the rope though. I'm not sure if that's stealth. I would love to test that. If anyone can help me do that, drop a comment below and let's set that up. Can players see that grapple? If you're hit by AoE though, from like rangers doing their like rain of death and combos, going through like this spot, if you're here in stealth and then you just get hit by anything, you'll be stunned and then dropped out of stealth. So be careful of that. Smoke bomb can be used. So here you are in stealth and then boom, you drop smoke bomb for your team, but you don't need to break stealth. So players in here reduced accuracy by 25%. But if you get caught out of stealth, that spot is like your re-stealth point. So once you're out of it, you have no way to re-stealth unless you get far enough where you can like, you know, grapple, then like re-stealth in the air, or you have to like dash into this, pop like umbral cloak to survive long enough, etc., etc. Of course, caltrops can also be used. So here we are in stealth. We can apply poisons, and then boom, you just zone for your team to apply poisons without your enemies even seeing you. This is great on choke points. The only downside, once again, is you only get 1 charge versus 2 charges. So you better make those abilities count. The next part of this with padded toolkit and expanded tool belt is expanded tool belt. Exactly that. Where you get another active for your poison. Say you want to take off Shiver Vapor, but you still want to use Smoke Bomb. Instead of applying Chill here, well, maybe you can use Chilling Poison here, but then also you want to apply Wounding Poison. With 2 poisons now. Hear me out. Only 1 type of poison can be applied to your weapons at a time, but multiple poison effects can be applied to your enemy. So you want to be able to spread these poisons around in different ways, where maybe Chilling Poison is through caltrops, and then Wounding Poison applied right after is through your throw. Or another use, if you have 2 charges of caltrops, you can go back to back, like Chilling Poison left side, Wounding Poison right side. That's the case for this. So don't pop both at the same time, you'll waste it. You have both off cooldown. Here we have the 2 charges. We have 2 charges of throw. We have 1 charge with 50-second cooldown on caltrops. These are all ways that I can apply these poisons. Or you can spread it with flurry. You can spread poisons via trounce, which is like a nice AoE cleave. But I find spreading these poisons best with caltrops, and then throw with, say, ricochet. Here's what this looks like. If I have both poisons and a multitude of options to spread my dots. Say this is a cluster here. Everyone's just chilling, PvPing. I want to apply my chilling poisons on this group. Well, I'm gonna throw caltrops, and they're all chilled. Now what? Maybe healers are coming. Okay, well, I can apply wounding poison and do it again. Now they're hit with wounding poison, as well as the chilling poison from earlier. And you can choose to do it much faster. It's just you should apply one, use your kit of throw, caltrops, or whatever, then reapply the poison and do more combos. Don't just spam one after the next. You will waste the poison and it will not be applied. For example, you can also just apply it real quick with throw. So we're here, I press T, and then 4 is my throw, and there's chill. So then now I want to do it again. I press Shift T for wounding poison. I use throw again. It's bleeding, but the wounding poison is now stacked right here. Bottom right corner of the screen, it says wounded on the enemy frame. This secondary poison, you can get very creative with your choices because it opens up flexibility for your team composition. If you're playing solo, a lot of times I only use one poison and it works great, and I can flex between these other options that you don't have enough skill points for at level 25. In guild versus guild, I recommend, and having 2 poisons is chef's kiss to helping your guild or large scale PvP team out. It also works in like small scale 8v8s. It's just more often than not, you'll find better use from other abilities in smaller scale PvP. You can do whatever you want. Poisons, rogues. And finally, I'd like to end off with Cold Embrace. Deathmark applies chill upon initial application. If the target is already chilled, they become frozen. This is a cool one once you have Shiver Vapor or you play around Frost Mages, Wizards. So what you want to have is Shiver Vapor, Deathmark, and then maybe we don't use Soothing Shadows because we're going to get more healing from Deathmark. Or we're with Clerics and Bards that can provide us healing, where we don't need this 1% tick all the time. So because we have Deathmark, and Cold Embrace, and Smoke Bomb, Shiver Vapor, we will get the Cold Embrace much faster if the target is already chilled. So applying it via Shiver Vapor, or Chilling Poison, or from a mage is highly beneficial to really get that debuff off on your enemy. Here I'm going to use my bow to apply Chilling Poison. It's chilled. I'm going to stealth to apply Death Embrace, and now it's frozen. So frozen cannot move or rotate for 4 seconds. It's like a stun lock. And there's our healing from Death's Mark. Really cool ability, but requires a good amount of setup in order to use. And a lot of PvP, kind of, the target is already either like dead or the moment passes. It's kind of hard to also track UI elements right now. You can turn your HUD to be larger. Interface, HUD, then global scale UI, where this raid frame right here, I'm at 99. If I boost this to 120, this raid frame comes a little bit bigger. Right here. It's still hard to see, where if I have this all the way at 80, the frame becomes smaller to see these debuffs. So a healthy balance between 80 and 120 is like 90 to 104, 105. Do what feels like natural for your monitor. So once you hit level 25, you will have plenty of options at your arsenal to mix your skills around for your class. This is something that I like to kind of roll around with just when I'm roaming the open world. It offers a mix of damage plus kiting potential plus a ton of crowd control to interrupt mobs, as well as if anyone does choose to come up and flag against me, it leaves me in a safe space to just kind of go right into it. If I'm going into scrims or PvP content, such as in the Tropics or June Dark, I might change a couple of these abilities around based on my composition, as well as if I'm solo roaming or if I'm with like a cleric, bard, ranger, etc., etc. Just the skills will change. Pat yourself on the back for getting this far. I appreciate you all for being here extremely, extremely with utmost gratitude. Thank you for being here and watching through this guide. I hope you learned something with it. We will go through other topics about the Rogue and Ashes of Creation in depth. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, a like, some hearts, some love. Drop a comment. Come check me out on, once again, twitch.tv/Sybreeds. Right here, my friends. Thank you. And come learn some Rogue, because you might suck at Rogue, and then you're going to watch this, and you're going to master it and put it in practice. And then you're going to become an outstanding Rogue. I will see you all in the next video.